Alrighty, so last time we were working on delayed activation grenades. Only got as far as the visualization for these delayed activation grenades. So now what we're going to be looking at is actually having them. It was only the visualization of the throw. Now we need to have it activate on the turn change. So that has a bit to do with these two event handlers here. We're pulling a bunch of information off how the proximity mine works. So we are going to look to take how this works and put a bit of work into it. Based on the proximity mine object moved. The proximity mine object moved is what we're going to be looking at. So I guess we'll get stuck in. I'm going to need to bring up the XCOM implementation, and that will come from effect game state. That's the one. Delete the old swap file. Something happened. Alright, so what we're looking for today is we're looking for proximity mine object moved. And a lot of this stuff doesn't matter. Like this is an event that comes off of when a proximity mine moves, and what we're going to be looking to do is to change that to a static function, I believe. It's going to be a static event listener, which will base itself off of other stuff entirely. But base itself off just always working, I guess, because it's going to be based on player turn begun and then filter on the start of the player's turn. I haven't really made events like this before, so I'll have to figure out what the right sort of place for that to be. And I imagine this ability activated one comes from after the detonation. No, it doesn't. Maybe not. Location match, detonate proximity mine. Sorry, one moment. Just gotta check something. Nothing like that. Alrighty, so got a bunch of stuff happening here, which I hope to avoid that. We got this other detonate proximity mine. We might be able to avoid that entirely and avoid this ability activated. So instead, we're only looking for a turn began. I think it's a player turn began event. Because what's going to happen is we're going to register this event. That event will trip the next time that event happens. Nothing found, so it must be turn begun. So we want when the player turn begins, player turn begun, player turn begin. Yeah, this is what we're after. Don't even want this. I want a better place to grab all this. Let's resize this to 50 so I can see it all. 13 seems like a good place to look. So we're getting a battle, get AI, player state. So instead we want to get the player state for the owner. The owner of the unit. So if we're looking at the event manager over here, let's have a look at game state effect. What are we looking for? We're looking for proximity mine, because proximity mine ability activated probably has got some information for how to get from this effect. Maybe that's not it. I want to figure out some ownership here. I wonder if there's any on player turn ticked. Player state on creation. We've got this apply effect parameters malarkey, so maybe we can use that to fetch what we need. Because this one certainly seems to have done just that. We've got local history, sorry, XCOM game state history. History. Effect obj. Well, now we just go effect game state. Dot apply effect parameters, player state object, ref, object ID. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Maybe. Because we want to, once we've got that player state, register the effect obj on turn begun, ELD on state submitted. We want to use the player state, and I believe that's a filter. Let me double check how that works. Unlike a few people out there, I'm not really that conversant with all of how this all comes together. So I do my best. Register for event. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So the delegate is here, then the deferral, which is on state submitted here. We skip the priority and the pre-filter object, which is the player state. So that feels like the right course of action there. So now we need to look at the proximity mine object moved. So yeah, we have this proximity mine object moved. See how this goes. So we got the static function on turn begun. A whole bunch of stuff here. We're just going to collect that. Player turn begun on turn begun. So I'm just going to grab the same listener here under the basic assumption that that should be the right sort of so return ERL no interrupt. Alright, and we're just going to start this out with a really quaint log. So shouldn't be able to miss it now. Alright, so we'll get rid of the other event. So it's only the player turn began event. Let's just see if we've got anything I'm overlooking in here. Alright, let's just see how that plays out. If we get some activity there, then things are looking good. Alright, while this is building, I'm just going to take a real quick moment, and I'll be right back. Just realised I've been talking with the microphone muted. Oh well. Anyway, so I've dealt with those interrupts and that kind of thing, and let's give it a try and see if our event listeners fire off. Once we know that, then we can start to put some actual logic into them. Don't want to put too much thought into that until the core is ready. So there's a few things going on here. Once we've got this sorted, we're disabling a projectile sort of explosion the first time it gets fired. The second time it gets fired with the detonate ability, it'll just sort of like stay in that same spot, and hopefully it'll just fire to right where it is. So there won't be any sort of dramas there, and it just sort of fires off. So yeah. Just have to work through this step by step, sort it out, but as it stands, it seems like we should be able to get what we want out of it without anything too sort of complicated. Then I'll need to look at making sure that the AI actually responds to a grenade landing on them, because the whole point is to make them more powerful, but so that they're forcing enemies to move in response to your grenade usage. But that only takes place if they're actually scared of grenades. Otherwise, all they're going to do is just jump into your grenade meat grinder, and you're going to get your kills. So it's not going to become at all balanced at that point. It's not going to be tactically interesting. Come on now. So this happens. Okay, did we get a player object thing? Yeah, so it registered and it's got the player state object ID, which is good. And then the next question is do we get... Yep. So there's our detonation there, and that will remove this, and remove this object, and it's a sick effect. It's nice. So this will remove this detonation and apply the visualization, do whatever it's got to do, and off we go. All right. From one success, we build others. So next off, we've got this. We want to take a leaf from how the effect works. The proximity mine object moved. So the object event data, I wonder how we recover state. I have to look at shot types. how these event listeners are recovering state. And these all come from context. Unfortunate. Alright, well, I have to figure out another way to get things, because these just grab their bits and bobs from an event. Maybe event data can help there. Doesn't mind it. Alright. Ticking grenade. What do we know? We know we want to get this effect, which hopefully we'll have some way of getting a hold of. Just going to see if there's any examples of coercing event data. XCOM game state. Beautiful. Okay. So this is a event object being coerced. So I'm going to take a guess that maybe I am allowed to do something to the effect of XCOM game state effect. And then grab the event data from there. So rather coerce the event data. Yeah. Maybe that'll work. Alright. But that's just little bits and pieces. If that falls in a heap, I'm sort of cool. That doesn't really bother me too much. Ability result context. Moved unit is enemy unit, and moved unit is alive. Detonate. Alright, so that's the check, and then we've got this detonate proximity mine business. So essentially what we're doing is this. We can probably just do it in the listener and call it a day. But how about, just for the sake of my knowledge, we'll separate it, keep it separated. So detonate grenade is our function. Okay, source unit. Alright, so that we'll make use of. So we've got this detonate grenade. Grenada. We've got a source unit. Triggering unit shouldn't matter. So we'll grab that when we need to. Available action. Okay. Alright, so we'll find ability, and that is small unit tactics, X2 ability dot grenades. Send this away. Fill the screen. Alright, detonate grenade ability name. Alright, so it's getting the ability state for that. Okay, this is mainly movement checking. Oh yeah, no, this is like... It's getting a whole bunch of units, but... We might be able to do without that code, because it's based on movement. Anytime we're referring to this, we need to get the effect. Because we're not dealing with, we'll go effect, remove all this stuff, see if we can get away with it. Have a feeling that's, I don't know, we'll keep the game state. Responding to game state, yeah. We'll get rid of the triggering to unit. Alright, so the responding to game state needs to go in as well. Drop that in. So now, triggering unit is caught in the blast. That's not what we're working with. So instead, we've got this effect. State. Alright, yeah. We've got effect. Got apply effect parameters. And then we've got target. Where did target come from? Who is target? Available target. Okay. Alright, that must be an out param. Okie dokie. Action, available targets, add item target. Sure that triggering target, additional targets. Okay. So we probably don't need this because essentially it's going to be a static blast. Effect dot apply effect parameters. Not self, so instead this will be on effect. effect removed state. New game state, responding to game state. Submit new game state, new game state. Okay, maybe that works. Maybe that works. So now we've got this detonate grenade effect. Okay. Alright, so here, where it gets interesting. So there's a application of weapon damage. So detonate grenade. So apply weapon damage is the thing here. If I look at, let me just bring up Notepad because that's the one. All right, if I bring up Notepad and have a look, as I said, I don't know why this crashes it, but actually no, this is not even what I want to look at. I want to look at their implementation of grenades. Because I believe they don't do an apply weapon damage. No, they use use thrown grenade effects. So we want that to go in here. Now this does pose a slight problem, as I believe I'm going to need to have a second template, second detonation template for launch grenades if I'm to piggyback launching bonuses such as like radius increase and stuff like that. I forget what the advanced grenade launch does, but I reckon some of those are going to be based on that. Let's remove some of this excessive stuff. Those are all false, but they probably default to false. Check grenade friendly fire. Well, yeah, they can leave it to true. It looks like it is. Never show, which is good. That is what we want. Maybe that's what we go for. We go for, so this is just a shooter track. So what I might do is remove the effect action. And the reason I want to do that is I just want to see if like things happen, like things get destroyed. And if that happens, then we might be on the track to success, and then we'll go from there. I'll just kick off the build and see if that works. Remove effect, bad command or expression. This is all in ticking grenade. Alright. Remove effect. Alright, yeah. So we need effect, dot remove effect. Then source unit bad, expression 36. Alright. Yes. I have not made clear that I'm gonna get a source unit. Local XCOM game state unit, source unit. Alright, let's try that now. Still breaking things. 37. Bad or missing expression for token XCOM game state unit. Oh. So yeah, here we've got the apply effect parameters. That should be effect.apply effect parameters. In fact, I'll denest this a bit. Also, that should be accessing history. We will do it because we don't have to access it for anything else. We'll just do it direct like that. That'll do. And then the submit game state at number 72. Maybe that's what I want to do. If I want to make it as much like Vanilla's proximity mine to start off with, then we can start with that, see if it works. Cannot access private function. Alright, let's not do that. I don't know if there's something special with effects. New game state. We have a private function. Let's just try and do that. There's probably some subtlety there I do not understand, but I'm okay with being dumb so long as I get some results. For real, how famous would those last words be in certain contexts? All right. this thing. No one got her. Okay. Accessed none effect. On turn begun. So we had no source unit, no nothing. Okay. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so we got no event data properly in there. So gotta resolve that first and foremost. So if event data is not that, then it must be player turn or something like that. So what I'll probably do I need to do some reading on what event source actually is. Tell me about your event manager. Source object. Oh, okay. So alright, so source object might be what I'm after. Yes. Because when you register event, it does ref object source obj. So maybe I do get the behavior I want just by using event source instead. Let's try that. Alright. Anyway. Alright, let's see if this works. Alright, well, we'll see how this event listener runs and then go from there. Yeah, throw it there. Yes, I'm fine with that. So we throw the grenade and we get a ping. Whoopie-doo. Alright. Still accessing none. Okay. That's unfortunate. Alright, I might have a jump into... Might jump into Longworth Codebase and have a look and see. I'm going to do this off window for a moment. Have a look into their codebase and see if they've got any good examples of an effect that would have, an effect. Yeah, we've got a bunch of X2 effects, so hopefully we've got one or two. Area suppression. You got any events, buddy? Nope. Nope. Which ones would have an event? Formidable, grazing fire. See, what else could be what we're looking for? Close encounters, maybe? Just want something with an event listener. We've got an event obj here, so maybe that did a register. Sure did a register. CE effect state. Ooh, okay. Player turn begun. CE effect state. Reset uses. What is CE effect state? Effect counter. Still, oh no, that listener obj is that thing, so I can't dig it out of the static. I need a listener. I need a listener that's implemented inside here. What else we got here? Whirlwind, maybe? I really don't know the perks that well, so... But we have an event manager here, so maybe we've got some stuff. Whirlwind effect state. XCOM game state effect. Whew, okay. So there's subclassing to do these different things. Well, maybe that's what we have to do as well. Certainly looks a hell of a lot like that's what they're doing. So yeah, we've got this init component, bizzo. And this means that our yeah, this means that our event listener is bang on. Like, it's got everything it needs. It can just work that way. So I guess yeah, we'll use that pattern, see if it gets us across the line. Oh, it's not a subclass? Let me double check that. I didn't realize. So you got X2 effect is a persistent, and XCOM game state effect, whirlwind, is from base object. Oh, okay. And I guess with that game state, I'm just going to attach a state object reference to the correct effect. That'll work, yeah? Thank you for setting me right once more. Alright. Small unit tactics classes. Alright, let's look at the whirlwind. Don't need you. Oh, config. For now, anyway. What time is it? Right. Okie dokie. So, what we're looking to do is take you and you, put you here. And effect, rather than getting it from there, we instead want to hold on to a state object reference of the owning effect. So that way we can go effect, owning effect. We'll go local history, XCOM game state history. So go grab that guy, which is owning effect dot object ID. History, same thing here, and then go and detonate that grenade using that effect. Now we've got this whirlwind thing. So get effect component. I see. Alright, so find component object is a formal pattern. Is that correct? It certainly feels like it. get effect components. Nope, not formal. Oh wait, no, I want find component object. Okay. Component class. Get all component objects. Okay. Interesting. I did not realize this was a feature. But will probably come in handy. I might even use it for parts of the strategy layer stuff, but okay. So going back to this guy, ticking grenade. XCOM, so this is small unit tactics, game state. Oops. Small unit tactics, game state, effect, ticking grenade, get effect component. Cool. Right, so we'll get that, and then we've got a bunch of stuff that we got to do on the register events, or maybe that we do it on init instead. Oh, that's not what I want. Sorry, I'm just looking at the X2 effect off screen. On effect added. Okay. Alright, so we're doing it on effect added and not in register for events because it's too early. It's too soon. Alright, so I'm going to steal this. Just copy and paste it shamelessly. Small unit tactics, game state, effect, ticking grenade. Grenade effect state. Move action point, none of that. Alright, new effect state, where did that come from? Yep, there it is. Create component and attach it to the game state effect, adding a new state object to the new game state container. Right. Now we do all this stuff. Kill this, get rid of you, get rid of you. And instead, Better look. Okay, listener object. Yep. Listener obj. Where's the player state coming from? It's coming from effect game state. It's rough, but I just want to slap it down. Open palm slap. New effect state. Alright, so we've got this player state, and that's going to use to player turn begun, on turn begun, player state. Right, get rid of all of these. Alright, now that we've done that, what we're looking at is daisy. So now we're registering a function from our effect state. So grenade effect state dot on turn begun. Right. Now, surely if there's this mechanism here, there should be a way to get you got this component stuff. Get owning effect. All right. Where is get owning effect? Owning object ID. Alright, so that, let's check an assumption again. So owning object ID. No? Oh. Here we go. Yeah, parent object state component of this base object. Cool. So I can get the owning effect by doing something like this. So I don't even need this state object reference. Like this is literally just a component state. That's just an empty vessel to allow me to have these listeners in place. So effect now becomes get owning effect. XCOM history. I guess the question now is like at some point here we need to remove the effect. Which we can do here, I guess. Or does it get removed? That's true. I guess the main thing is I'm taking after how proximity mine was set up, but that is a good point. I probably could have just done that, but eh. But to be honest, this time is not wasted because I learned about component objects. Player state bad expression 25. Alright. Chuck you in there. Target unit isn't a thing I care about, so I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, I guess X2 effect persistent has what's it called? Events. And the thing is, I mean, I'm probably going to have to explore this stuff anyway, because once I start doing priming grenades, that's going to have a whole bunch of event effects. For example, it's like when you drop the grenade, if the units carrying the grenade gets stunned or killed, they need to drop the grenade. There's a bunch of stuff going on there, so probably not a big deal that I'm exploring it this way, at least in my mind. Oopsie daisy. Let's clean that up. Game state effect, picking grenade. Why won't you give me completion? I wouldn't mind it. What time is it? 11:16. I'm gonna have to finish up soon. I don't even need that. Just create it. There's not really any initting going on, so. So let's have fun thinking about all the things that could go wrong when you prime a grenade. So, you could try to... You could get to the next turn and then you move before you throw it. That should maybe make it explode or something like that. The guy who primes the grenade could get killed or knocked unconscious, which means the grenade should just fall to the floor, and then it will have a timer of until the beginning of the next turn. They get mind controlled, so suddenly they have their throw grenade ability come up next turn that they have it. So we can't necessarily tether it to turn begun, or at least we need to be willing to change that based on that case. So we need to have a listener for the enemy turn potentially. What else? The whole bunch of cases that I need to figure out for priming grenades. I want to do it, but yeah, a whole bunch of cases. We sort of need to make sure that as soon as the once you've primed a grenade, once it gets to the next turn, it has to really clearly say, hey, you need to throw this grenade now or it's going to blow up in your hand, or something like that. Alright. For a DAC grenade. Alright, let's see what happens now. Well, that sort of worked. timed out, sort of worked. That's cool. Made a bit of fire. So that was with used thrown grenade effects. So that feels like right. That was 3 and 4 damage respectively. So that's frag grenade damage all around the town. So we're just missing the visualization, and I did remove that on purpose. Ideally, what we want to do is just like proximity grenades use what's it called? Proximity grenades just use a play effect. Let's close this down. So their visualization uses this. They dump the shooter track and then they do the detonation with an effect action. Now, I wouldn't mind your input on this, Robo Jumper, if you're listening. So we want to use the projectile. So I guess we would just want to fire this projectile like at our that just uses a target location. It's there. We've got this ability, context, input, context, target location. So that is the effect location. And it would be ideal for us to either, if we use projectiles, then we get the impact and all that other stuff. So it'd be nice if we could just say, all right, we're just going to fire this projectile right there. And that's just going to be the way it works. Yeah. So, I mean, we've got action, fire. So action fire has a bunch of stuff going on. Realistically, we just want like a path. Would the impact? Where's the impact? I need to look at unified projectile to see how that all kicks in. Because otherwise I miss like all those sweet impact actors and stuff like that. We've got this spawn class impact actor. And I don't know if play effect. Because yeah, that's just a particle system component, but there's more than particle systems here. That would be the ideal if that was the only functionality I wanted. I think I'm going to need 2 detonations. I've already sort of figured that out though, because I've got, like, I can just choose which ones I override in my weapon manager. So, small unit, what's it called? Small unit tactics. I'm in the wrong place. Yeah, so I've already got this like timed grenades category, right? So I'm not too worried about that, because I've got a separate a separate thing going on rather than modifying grenades directly. And yes, that'll mean that if other people are adding grenades, other things will have to happen, but I'm kind of cool with that. Like, it's really quite straightforward for people to add grenades to configs, so I'm not super worried about that, especially if people are used to tinkering with the game. Anyone who's tinkering will be used to tinkering at that point, because they've been doing it for nigh on a year and a half now. But in terms of using effects, because I've got detonate grenade, like I've had to put sort of the what's it called, the use thrown grenade effects there. That'll probably just end up being, I'll just have to generate two detonate abilities. One for launched, one for not unlaunched, but I'm not going to stress about that just yet. But either way, bringing us back to how do we get the visualization to work. Everything else about the visualization works except for the projectile. So where does the new projectile come from? That comes from, yeah, because that would come from an anim notifier, and then it does its thing. So that's, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff going on there. But if we care about the particle effect and the impact actor, maybe that's enough. What if that's it? I just make myself my own action for spawning the impact actor. I've got the hit location. I know where it's going to be, and I can just make up a rotator for it. So I'll just chuck the impact actor in there. Call it a day. Hit normal, hit location. Like, I don't even know if we have complex hit normals here. Well, I reckon I just try and make an effect that does this impact. Can't be hard. Play effect isn't super hard. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Because there's really not a lot I need to do. I just need to set a vector, effect location, make the impact straight down, because that's how grenades usually explode. They explode on a floor tile. And then go to state finished. I'm gonna try that. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I can grab from the grenade the archetype. So yeah, then I grab the sound cue, the explosion effect, the sound. So the sound cue from the projectile. Yeah, grab everything from the projectile. I think that'll be. Yeah, it's 11:30. I've got a big day tomorrow, so I am not going to carry on, but I will save where I'm at. There's the projectile explosion, impact, and sound during detonate grenade. You just chuck them all on the shooter track.